Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back today with a bonus video for this weekend. As you know, in my sign off, well, if you've watched all my videos to the end, I've been doing a thing, running a little competition, for want of a better word, at the end of my videos for the last few weeks here on YouTube, and it's trying to get my follower count up on Twitch to a little bit. Not the subscribers thing. If you want to come and subscribe, there's a link down below. Really appreciate it if you could, but I'm not doing it for that. I was doing it for the followers. And I was trying to get up to 200 followers, and I did hit it. Someone stopped following me, but I did hit it. And I hit 200, and the person who became my 200th follower over on Twitch was Virothepyro. And I was really pleased to see this. It cheered me up no end. So I've sent them a message via Twitch going, well done, you're the 200th follower. Pick a commander. I'm going to cover it on the YouTube channel. I'll cover it, I'll play it on stream. And they came back to me and went, yeah, there's a couple of things we want to do. And one of them was to do a Fantis update that I'm still thinking about. So sorry, Viro, if you're watching this, it's coming. It's just going to take me a little bit longer. But the other one they wanted me to do was do a Kykar deck that was under $150. Now, my original Kykar deck was ridiculous. I realise that. That's still here on the YouTube channel. Hence why you've got Viro's name in this video description. But Kykar is one of those decks where you can go silly money on it. But I did try and keep it to $150 and still try and make it competitive. And it was quite a challenge. And I quite enjoyed it. So here we go. Viro, this is for you for being my 200th follower on the YouTube channel. Here we go. So, mana base wise, as usual, red, white, and blue lands all the way through. Playing each of the gates because we've got Silvergate, Cliffgate, and whichever one the other one's called. I can't remember now. Seagate. There you go. They're all in because they're a nice way of getting fixing your mana if you need to. We've got a few mountains, we have a few plains, we have a few islands, and then I've kept away from some of the more expensive lands in the deck to keep it down. So we've got Battlefield Forge, we've got Clifftop Retreat, obviously Command Tower. I'm assuming everyone's got this, by the way, along with Sol Ring, which I'll just mention now. I'm hoping everyone's got that. Oh, and Arcane Signet. I think most Commander players have these, but I've included them in the 150 budget. They're not an addition. Frostborn Snarl, Fury Calm Snarls here, Glacial Fortress is here. A couple of cards from the Lord of the Realms set, they're quite cheap. So Minas Tirith is here, which is quite nice. It gives you a way of drawing cards. And the Mines of Moria, we can exile some cards to get some treasures, which will help us cast things. Went to a Mystic's Monastery instead of its cycling equivalent, whose name escapes me at the moment, because that was really expensive. So I've taken that out to keep the cost under 150. Port Towns here, Reliquary Tower, Restless Bivouacs in from the Wildsvale Drain set, which isn't too sad at all for a 2/2 creature that when you attack you get to put +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. Along with the Restless Spire, that's quite nice. Has first strike and then gets to scry one, so a couple of extra creatures to play around with. Sea of Clouds is here, Spectator Seating's here, Sulphur Falls, Sundown Pass. Usual selection of lands. We've got them all here. Training Centre I have got in. I did manage to get it in on the budget, so yay, go me. The rest of the ramp, I've kept it fairly simple. Soul Talisman is still a cheap one if you can pick it up. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet I've already mentioned. Instead of doing the medallions, which I would probably look at doing this deck because I know they're cost prohibitive at the moment, gone with the diamonds. One of each of the diamonds, so fire, marble, and sky. And then Talisman of Conviction and Talisman of Progress are still fairly easy to pick up, apparently. So that's the ramp side of things taken care of. But what we're really interested in with Kaya is non-creature spells. So if all of these count because give us a spirit and then we can sack a spirit to do red. So how are we going to do this? Well, I thought about it and I thought about it a bit more, and I'm like, the easy way to do this is probably try and win through beatdown with the tokens, but you want to be producing them and then realising you're going to sacrifice them. So, the most expensive card in the deck, as I record this, is Anointed Procession. According to MTG Goldfish, where I put all my decks up, as you know, it is currently sitting at $42.97. That's what MTG Goldfish is telling me the monetary value is, and I'm guessing that's average somewhere, but that's what it's telling me. However, it is one of those things that I think you really do need in this deck, and it's like I say, I think it's the second, no, it's the most expensive card. I don't think it's anything. I think the next most expensive card after this is like half or under half the cost of Anointed Procession, but it needs to be in the deck for this one, so bear with me on this. So the rest of it, recruit the worthy. Nice way of getting some soldiers. We need some tokens, so yep, buy back 4 mana. You just keep casting every time you have 4 mana available. Quite a nice little way of doing it. Strike it rich gives you a treasure token as well. You know, when Kykar is in play, gives you a spirit and a treasure, and then you can flash it back and get another treasure and yet another spirit, so that's quite cool. Heartflame Duelist from the Wilds of Eldraine is here. A little bit of removal with the damage side of it for 3 mana for 3 damage, and then instant and sorcery spells you control have lifelink if you cast a creature. Intangible Virtue pumps all your tokens up. Raise the Alarm and Servo Exhibition do all the immortal creatures for you to help you win the game. And Sunset Revelry gains you some life, gives you some creatures, draws some cards. From there, we go to Dragon Fodder for more tokens, Krenko's Command for more tokens, Ral's Reinforcement for more token creatures. Ratcatcher, again, gives us more token creatures, so you get some black rats that can't block. So they're not quite as good as the other ones, but they're fine. Scalding Viper from Wilds of Eldraine also makes an appearance. It gives you a nice little way of getting an extra spirit, and then gives you a creature that has a lot of effect on a game of Commander still, because a lot of people do cast things, their mana value 3 or less, and that means they'll be taking damage. So, you know. Unsurprisingly, the young Pyromancers here, we have a lot of instants and sorceries coming. We might as well get some elementals to win the game with that way. Sorcerer class makes an appearance to give us some bit of draw and discard, and then a way of getting our creatures to tap for mana to cast our instants and sorceries we have coming up. And then whenever we cast it, an instant or sorcery spell, that spell deals damage to each opponent equal to the number of instant sorcery spells you've cast this turn. That is what we need to get to. We need to get to level 3 with this one. It's unusual, I say, about getting to level 3 with this particular class, but this one we really do need to get there to make sure this works. It's one of the ways we've got of winning the game outside of the token creation. Because, you know, all your tokens will die to Elesh Norn, that's seeing a bit of the original Elesh Norn, that's seeing a bit of a resurgence at the moment, so bear it in mind. Of course, if you're playing this in paper, probably not much of an issue. Third Path Icon class is also here, gives us a whole load more soldiers. Lightning Helix gives a little bit of life gain, a little bit of damage that we may need. I've been through all of the ramp spells down the bottom here. Moving over to 3 drops, Midnight Haunting gives us another couple of spirits which we can sacrifice off for red mana, so you know, you might be short, you might need to do it that way. Imodane's Recruiter gives us a couple of knights which are nice, and then when it enters the battlefield, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste to the end of turn. Now if you've managed to get a whole load of spirits into play and a whole load of tokens, this may give you a one-shot win. I'm not going to promise it, but it's possible, because one of the cards that's coming up would help immensely. Merchant of the Veil, draw and discard for 1 mana. Well, you discard a card and then draw. 1 mana also gives you a 1/1 spirit, so bear it in mind. And then you get the 2/3 creature when you cast it out and get the red and the 2 to do the discard and draw again. Hordling Outburst gives you 3 red goblin tokens. Fevered Visions gives you another way of drawing some cards. Okay, it's at your end step, but that's fine. And it means that if your opponents have 4 or more cards in their hand, they get to take 2 damage each turn as well. Quite a nice little tricky thing to do. Prismari Command, 2 damage to a target. Target player draws 2, discards 2, gets a treasure or blow up an artifact. You pick any 2 of them. I'm guessing most of the time it will be the first one and the last one, especially in Commander. Occasionally you may need the treasure. It does help sometimes. Anointed Procession, I think I've already talked about. Smothering Tithe is probably the next most expensive card in the deck if my memory serves. As the only other double-figure dollar card in the deck, it's 17 point something or other at the moment on Goldfish. So, yeah, there you go. It's still under half the price of Anointed Procession, but it comes in, gives you a treasure, gives you ways to make sure you've got the mana you need to cast all your on-creature spells. You're confronted by robbers. You either get to tap some creatures that may save you from dying, or you get some soldiers which will help you win. Day of Judgment, Wrath of God, give you a little bit of creature control. Yes, that does mean Kyle dies and all the spirits die as well, but occasionally you will need to do it, unfortunately, so bear that in mind. Threadbind Clique gives you an instant to destroy a target tap creature with, and then gives you a 3/3 flyer. Not bad, I suppose. It could be better, but it's alright. And Twinning Twins. Exile target non-token creature, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control, beginning the next end step. Now this is quite nice, because you can do this with Kykar in play. Exile Kykar, Wrath, Day of Judgment, blow the world up, Kaya comes back, you're still ahead. Big Score gives you discard a card, couple of cards and treasures. Grabby Giant gives you treasures, which creates off your more spirits, because all the adventure cards obviously do the adventure bit first before you cast them. A Tuji, the Blazing Sky, is just purely here as a 4/4 flyer and then gives you treasure tokens. Maniform Hellkite gives you a whole load of creatures you can attack with as you cast spells as the game progresses. Unexpected Windfall, discard, draw a couple, get a couple of treasures, fine. And our little bit of Planeswalkers are here. Ral Zarek, tap target permanent and untap another permanent, helps you ramp out a little bit, or deals 3 damage to something that's annoying you, or if you get lucky enough to get up to -7, you hopefully get a few extra turns, which is cool. Heroic Reinforcements pushes all your tokens up to wind speed if you need to. And Narset of the Ancient Way, a bit of life gain, a bit of mana ramp to spend on non-creature spells. Yeah, and if you can get the -6 off, yeah, that's pretty good. Doing shocking something every time you cast a spell that's not a creature. I mean, we are running 44 spells in the deck and 18 creatures, so most of the time if you get the -6 off, you'll be running away with this. Metallurgic Summoning gives you another way of getting some tokens into play, which will help you win the game. Arcblade keeps coming back because you go to suspend with this. It goes into time. It comes back a few turns later. So, yeah, okay. Bit awkward to track, and it's only 2 damage. But, you know, it eventually becomes a free way of generating a spirit. Or a free way of generating mana when you sacrifice that spirit off. So, you know, can't complain. Burn Down the House, a little bit more board control if you need it, or some wonderful devils you might want to just hang around and ping things with. And the Ghost Forge is here. I wanted some way of pumping up all the spirits I was making, and this gives all our spirits +1/+1 trample and haste. So if we can get a whole flock going in the air, we're winning by miles. And whenever another non-token creature you control dies, exile it. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's a spirit in addition to its other types, and it has, when this creature leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to its owner's graveyard. Little trick, you can exile Kaya with it, and then this will go back to the command zone, but you'll still get the copy of it. So it does work. You can let it die and get it exiled, and once it hits the exile zone, it goes to the graveyard. It goes back to the commander zone. It does work, unless it's a really big bug here on MTGO, but it does work. Akim the Soaring Wind, another way of getting some tokens on the board. If you have this in play along with Kaya, you're going to get a bird and a spirit, and then you get to give your tokens a double strike until the end of turn for 6 mana. Again, another way of winning the game. Kitara's Wrath ends up with you've got 7 or more cards in your graveyard. If you've got the threshold, you get a couple of spirits. And you get to instead destroy all creatures and then create 2 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying. Creatures destroyed this way can't be regenerated. So, you know, little way of getting something perfect. Triplicate Spirits, another way of getting spirits with a little bit of Convoke fun. Rise from the Tide gives you a whole load of zombies for all the instances of sorceries we're casting in our graveyard. Farian Emancipation, source you control will deal damage to a permanent or player. It deals triple that damage to that permanent or player instead. Gotta love it. Farian Emancipation, you really have. Melik, is it Paragon? Play with the top card of your library revealed. Instant source which you can cast from the top of your library, and whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell from your library, you get to do a copy of it. Can be quite useful. Realm Cloak Giant, another way of blowing the board up and then giving you a big vigilance beater. Okiva Enigma Goliath is nice. Cast non-creature spells, get a whole load of goblins that come in with haste. So, if you know, I have seen this. This is a whole separate deck on its own, and it is getting more and more competitive as it goes along, especially with the availability of the medallions now on MTGO. It's going to be one of the decks I'm going to go back and update in the future, but it's gone in here because it's quite cheap in paper. And Inspiring Ultimatum, shoot someone for 5, you gain 5 and draw 5. That should get you towards the end of the game really quickly. Last few cards in the deck. City on Fire, just another way of making sure we can triple up the damage that anything does. So that's quite nice, you know. Triple here and triple it here. Things get very upsetting very quickly for your opponent. Heroes Remembered, just a suspend 10 card, which you can do on turn 1 to gain 20 life, which you might need while your 10th turn, if it lasts that long. But again, another free way of getting spirit. I just like it and it's fun. You can drop this and replace it with another land if you really want to, but I'd still keep it in if I was you, Viro. It's good fun. Secure the Waste gives you a whole load of creature tokens, which hopefully you'll be getting loads off with your Smothering Tithe, and then you'll be able to just win the game that way, because you'll have your Intangible Virtue out, or you have some way of giving them double strike. You know, things happen. It's good. Let's do it. And finally, Deep Sea Kraken. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if it's suspended, remove a time counter from it. It can't be blocked, and it's just a fun big beater at the end of the game. And people don't. You'd be surprised how quickly this will come down from a suspend 9. When people are playing 2 or 3 spells a turn, you'll soon get all the counters off, and you'll get to have it come into play. I've seen it happen. It's good fun. And sometimes it's a surprise blocker, because what you'll find is occasionally one of your opponents will be attacking you, but someone else will realise that if they cast a couple of spells, this will come into play and block the biggest creature that opponent has, which will take care of it. It's quite fun. It's only a 6/6, so it's not going to block anything major, but it does give people a bit of upset when it comes into play. And that's it, Viro. So this was the video for you. This is my updated version of Kykar, the Wind's Fury. I will be playing this on stream when Viro's on the stream. It will be the next deck we play. I assume it's not towards the end of my stream, but I will play it out and show you how it works. So thanks for watching. The deck list is down below. The link to my Twitch is down below as well. Come and give me a follow over there if you can. Obviously, you hopefully hit the subscribe button here on YouTube, so I've appreciated that already. And that's it. Tomorrow, another one of the Lost Caverns of Ixalan decks for you to look at. One of the new commanders. So come back tomorrow and see it then. Take care. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.